Okay, so since my last video, pretty much the day that I finished my Peugeot, I came back to this to realise someone had sideswiped my car and pretty much written it off. It has been written off now, because it's probably worth, I think they've been giving me £5,500 for this car. So obviously, to do this properly would be essentially a new door, new panel, welded on, painted, new light, and all the admin and storage fees that goes with it. So they've written it off, but they have given me the opportunity to buy this back for 700 quid. It's not structural, so I am going to buy it back because it seems a bit of a waste to not have this car for 700 quid. So I'll probably end up buying a new car as a family car. This will be my run around and sell some other cars I've got. So what I need to do really is get it so that it is legal. So at the moment, if you can't open a door, sharp edge is going to be an MOT fail, it's going to be illegal. So all I need to do really is get it to a point where that's no sharp edge anymore. So pull this out and just make a crude job of it. I've actually already fixed this door handle. It's not great for now. I'll probably get a new door for it, second-hand door. But this was hanging off. Luckily, I managed to hook it in there. It's like a little, you could open it with your finger, but I managed to hook a bit of plastic now. That's not going to last because there's no cap there, but it does open, which it didn't before. So, although that probably needs a bit more work here, maybe put some kind of resin or something, just so it works for now for the MOT, no matter how it looks. So I'm going to give it a go. This video will be about me trying to see if I can get this legal again. And all that's going to be is secure this so it works. I didn't actually think I'd get that back on. So that's actually, if I can make that so that's not going to move off, I'll put something there, some plastic in there. That's actually, that door's fine. As long as there's no sharp edges. So I could probably live with that for a little bit. I might get a new door eventually. So I'm quite pleased with that. Just need to make sure this can now slip forwards. I need to make sure that doesn't slip forward. So I might be able to get like a cap or something for it. We'll see. And then remove that. This is all dented in, all completely caved in. Wheels okay, but it just needs no sharp edges. Obviously a few bits there. So I've got a few tools here. I'm going to kind of experiment with a few tools. I've shown people put rugby balls and expanding, you can get kind of expanding wind or air wedges. Might struggle to get something in there, but if I could get it in there, putting some pressure on it would blow all of that out, but we'll see if I can get it in there. For now I need to get that hole a bit more open. So I've got a few wedges here, these should be quite good, and just give it a go. Now clearly this is never going to go back to where it was. It's got folds in it and all sorts, but I just want to bring it out a little bit so I can bring these two bits together. So this is quite good that you can kind of change the angle and just slowly bring it out like that. I mean, it might be just all I need to do is connect these two bits and that'll be job done, but ideally I wouldn't mind getting right underneath it to pull it all out, but I'm just going to see how we go. What I'm going to do is open up this top section. I think the best bit really is going to be to get this rugby ball or this air cushion in there. So open it out. So I create a gap here. So for now, I think I've opened that up enough to be able to get a rugby ball in there. That's what I'm going to get. Try and get it in there, inflate it, pump all this out. And I'm just going to see how we go from there. I don't know how much of repair I can do. Minimum, I need it legal. If I can get it anywhere near, I mean, it's anywhere near respectable with some filler, but I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I mean, you've got splits there, so I think it's just about making it legal. If I want to go any further, then clearly the whole panel needs to come off. But for 700 quid, all I've got to do is make it legal, then I've got a usable car as a run around. So that is the plan. I mean, I'm going to get just shy of £5,000 for this if I keep the car. So whether some body shop will do a bit of a cheaper job for me, keep the change, or I'll just live with it, make it legal and live with it. So my plan with this today is to try and get this basketball inside the hole to inflate it out a little bit. Now I was thinking about this, I mean, in terms of just accepting the damage and passing the MOT, all I need to do is make sure there's no sharp parts. Now this is a category N write-off. I've been told that the MOT is still legal, but my insurance wants a new MOT to get it on the road. So The MOT still applies. Category S structural damage it wouldn't, but category N it would. But like I said, the insurance would want to know it's all okay to be driven on the road anyway. And equally, this would be a fail with the sharp edges, but a normal category N wouldn't be. Got a sharp edge there as well. But so I could actually just flatten this off and be done with it that way. But I wouldn't mind trying to pump this out a little bit. It's also going to try and bridge the gap here. So it's by no means going to be done today. It's just going to be a few little sessions here and there. I might have to get some rods to push it out. But in the first, this is a size 3 basketball. They're fairly hard wearing. And try and get that in there and inflate it out. Got a little pump here, so shouldn't need anything mechanical. That should do it. I'll sort this door out another day. I've got a new cap for this. This is just a cap that goes on there, but it's whether it's so bent I can get the screw in. But worst case, I can glue that in. It's just a stop to stop that moving forward. But for now, we're just going to try how we go at this. So the reason I've gone for a basketball rather than a rugby ball is because for the rugby ball, the air hole's kind of in the middle, so you can only really get half of it in. Whereas here, it's just going to be on the end of the circle, so I can, in theory, get the whole lot in. So I've deflated that as much as I can. Just gonna, I mean, it could even be that I need a smaller one, but I'm not sure you can get a smaller one. So it's only halfway in, so let's see if that does anything. I'm assuming really I need to get something that gets all the way in. I think that's going to work. Right, so you definitely can't get it halfway in, it's going to have to be all the way in. Get the air back out. Not sure how easy it's going to be to get this out, but you can see it's kind of come out already a little bit. If I can get it right in there, around there, I should pump it out, but now the issue with this plan is getting it out, because obviously when you get it in, you can give it a squish and roll it up and get it in there, but obviously you can't do that once it's in there, it's inflated. Obviously these balls are like, a tenner or something, so if you have to rip it out or cut it out, it's fine, but ideally kids can use it, or I could use it again if I get it in there. So I'm just going to have to slowly pull it out. It's going to come out, but obviously this is the harder bit. It's come in. There you go. Wow. That's fairly good now, because I mean it has popped it out. I probably could have done with some sort of crowbar, but you've got to think about what you're leaning on then. I haven't done its job, it's popped it out a little bit. It's quite stiff metal, so I can get a crowbar or something in there. Maybe kind of wedge it out a little bit. The issue with that, obviously going to damage the inside, but it doesn't matter too much. To work out what I'm going to do next now. I mean, whether I can pull it. It's got a proper fold in there, hasn't it? So what I think is best now really, I mean, is probably to get my slide hammer. So if I drill a hole in there, put something through, and I can pull that whole panel out, and same there as well, because I'm not going to be able to get anything in there to there with a pump on it to pump it out. You need specialists, whatever it would be, but there's no chance. I mean, a rugby ball is going to start from there with the air bit just in there. I don't think that's going to work too much, it's going to inflate too much there. So I think it's going to have to use my slide hammer. So a couple of drill holes, pull it out and see where we end up. But you can kind of see, put the light on. So one thing I need to sort out as well is obviously this cap here, which I've got. So I've got this cap that I got from another car, but as you can imagine, this is all dent. So all this cap does is stop this sliding forward. So this works fine, but it's not going to fit in the gap I've been left with. So I have to make a decision either just to cut all that off and glue it in as a stop, or to actually try and bend this out, which I don't really fancy my chances. That's a sealed unit, so unfortunately, and this was 30 quid for the whole unit. Eventually I get a whole door, but for the sake of the MOT, I think what I might have to do is cut all this off and glue it as a stop. Again, just to get it through its MOT. I mean, there is a slight possibility. So you'd normally screw that cap on through here. It has a little gubbins there that you take off. So there would be possibility to put something in there, but whether you're going to get the leverage to force the door back out again, I doubt it. Very much doubt it. But just enough to get it at an angle where I wouldn't need to cut it. But I mean, I'm going to be getting a new door for this at some point, so it's not the end of the world. I mean, if you look inside, the screw that holds it in is still in place. Quite hard to get focused. Yeah, the screw's still in place, just about see it. It's a bit blurry there. It's just at the wrong angle. So it's the screw's kind of held in place by some plastic tabs. Can't quite see it there, but so yeah, if I could bend that out, I could still use that. I mean, again, a little hole there. This is just a void in there. A little slide hammer could pull that out. I don't really fancy putting something in there because it's going to cause other problems this end. As you can see, this just slides out, so it does need that stop. That whole thing slides out that way. Right, so I'm going to try and push this higher bit out now. So what I'm going to try and do is use a crowbar, but to save kind of causing too much distress to the top metal, I'm just going to wrap the end in a nice padded bit of material. I have something for it to lean on. I can get that in there. There. Get a bit of leverage like that and just. Right, so the next thing to try, I'm going to use my dent puller, and there's quite a big void behind there, so you actually drill this thread in, this nut in, and then actually pull it out. But obviously, what I'm worried about, you're only be pulling on the side of these threads. It's very firm metal there, so we'll give it a go. So first off, I need to get a pilot hole in. Let's try 4. I get in the centre of the hole. Right. No, it started to go. I mean, the principle, if I can get something in there, maybe. Yep, they put it out. Try again, but a bit of an angle. Try and get more of a catch on it. And if I could get something in there with like a nut on the inside, then that really would pull that out then. And in principle I can because the hole's so big. As far as I can take that, I think. I'm going to give it a go at this thing. So you can get that in at an angle. You can move this like that. So if I get in like that, get it nice and. I'm having a bit of success just putting these in and pulling them. It's quite a big foot there, so just to kind of get it in there. So I've got this tool in this kind of crowbar. And I might have to use it as a quasi hammer. So you get it about there. I still think you're going to need the slide hammer to do it properly, so I think now I've made a bit of progression, but you're going to need something inside to really give it a pull. I mean, whether I even need to, because it's clearly never going to be perfect, never going to be anywhere near looking good, so I'm just trying to make it legal. You'll have wonders about just pushing it in and making it flat, but for now, just to fill this gap, get it out as much as I can, smooth these edges out. If I can get this piece of wood in here, and I'm actually going to have to cut it. It's got a pre-drilled hole in it somewhere. There you go. I get that in there. I mean, to be fair, I might not even need to cut it. That's going to be in there pretty tight. Pull that, so I should pull that bit out, so I might not even need to cut it. Obviously I'm quite fortunate in a funny kind of way to have this big hole at the bottom which allows me to do this. Let's see. So that's pulled that right out. Right, so I think that's going to be the plan now. So I'm going to, I can't finish this today, I'm going to finish it tomorrow, but I need to pull this out. I think I want to pull some of this out. So what I might do is get some targeted holes, just to pull the hole out. So I might put one more there, which I can get in and pull out. Maybe one bit further back, one there, and then that is going to be as pulled out as it needs to be. So it's got rid of a lot of that fold already, so it's a little bit more work. I mean, that's a lot of those edges. I mean, that fold's never going to go, but it's a lot better than it was in terms of safety. Obviously not aesthetics, it's going to be what it is, but that's better already. So that's quite a good little tactic there. Bit of wood there. Right, so what I'm going to try today is to try and pull this bit out. So I'm going to put a hole in here, try with the traditional slide hammer, and then probably put a bit of wood in there afterwards to pull it out as much as I can, just to kind of get rid of the sharp edge. But if I can pull it out, then that would be ideal. So the first thing is to centre my hole. So in the first, before I put the wood in, I'm just going to try with a traditional screw. It's got, I think it's going to pull out quite easily because it's not got much pulling power for such a firm dent, but it will do something. It didn't pull much, so I'm going to have to put a bit of wood in there. See if that will work without cutting the wood. Right, it's pulled out quite nicely there. So whether I keep on going or change where I'm going to put the hole. A little bit more of a go, I think. Try and pull this crease out. That's good enough, I think. Closer look at that. So that's pulled it out a little bit. Again, obviously the aim of this is just to kind of get it a little bit straighter and no edges. So some of those edges have gone already, the sharp edges there. Now I'm just trying to bring this bit forward. So I'm just trying different ideas really. Like I've had a bit of success doing this. Get this right in there. A bit of success pushing that forward is there. As expected, the second you come out to work, the second it rains, I don't know why it always does this. Every time I choose to do some work, that second it rains, but Either way, so that wood's done a bit of good work there. It's kind of pushed this out, so you don't have so many kind of sharp folds in it. I've managed to push this edge out a little bit and pull this out. I think, like I said, I'm not aiming for anything perfect, anywhere near perfect. I think now I'm ready to kind of start hooking it and pulling this out, getting that level, just make sure there's no sharp edges, bit of filler, and that side sorted. I need to make a decision about this, if I can actually bend this out at all. Oh, sorry. Bend this out at all to put in the cap via the nut or the screw, or I just cut it and glue it in there. It will work if I glue it in there, but I prefer to be able to pull it out a little bit. So I'm going to finish this first and then see if I can tackle that. So what I've got now is I've got like a little puller for kind of pulling out any kind of lips and folds of metal. So I'm going to give that a go, trying to even things out a little bit. Right, just use the end of the crowbar just to kind of get in there and pull that bottom bit out a little bit, just going to get some padding out there. Just a little bit like that. So now I just want to get rid of some of these edges so that I can kind of get a nice bond together. So, right, in regards to getting this legal, I think I'm going to leave the panel beaten there, get a mesh and some filler, and get it to a point where it's all soft to touch. And now I'm going to tackle this. So you can kind of see here, there's inside, you can see how the door still opens. You get your finger in there, it still opens like that. That hooks around that little bar there and kind of feeds in there. So I just need to kind of pull this out to a point where I can screw that cap in. If I can't screw it in, I have to glue it in. But I'm going to try and pull it out a little bit just there, as you saw with the pull. Let's see what happens. Before I commit to just gluing on this stop, I'd like to give it a go at pulling this out. By using that hook just there, obviously it's kind of pulled this seam apart. But the option would be just to have it dented in, so I'm thinking about drilling a hole, putting some sort of nut through and then pulling it out that way. So what I can do is, obviously I've got this attachment for the puller. If I drill a hole in, put this through with those washers, and then either put a nut on that end or I thread it through and put the nut in. I think probably safer to put it in like that, and that should work. Centre it there. Trying the first with that puller actually. Try this first. Right, I'm going to use the long one so I don't lose it. I can actually get it through that hole there. I can widen that hole, but screw it in for now. Just about being able to get that in, so right, so this is I'm not replacing this, I'm not taking the door card off, but this is a replacement door. I'm trying to see how it works. This kind of sits inside the door card, so that is what I need to get to, which is a bit of a funny angle for me now. It's I think it's called a retained nut or something like that. So it kind of stays in place. Can't lose it. There you go. So that comes out. So what I'm trying to do is to not have to cut that. So whether I can kind of get it out to any kind of angle it's going to fit, which is probably going to be a no, but I mean, it's almost a definite no. But ultimately I just need something for it to sit in there to stop the door handle going forward. See this door handle, it kind of comes off like that. So it kind of hooks in, and then the actual door lever is there. See that there? Like that. And then that hooks in. You push it back like that. So all this does is stop that going forward. So I could cut it and stick it in for the purpose of an MOT. I don't think I'm going to have to get it in there. I realised, I was thinking that actually this had been ripped off completely, but actually that there is the innards of that. So if I remove that, that's obviously still screwed in, all snapped off. I might actually have some space after all, so I need to remove that and put that in there. You alright, Emmy? Say hello, can you say please like and subscribe?
Please like and subscribe. If you like our videos, come and see me again soon. Bye!
Yeah, lovely. Not quite finished yet, I'm doing a video on how to fix this. Right, fairly twisted, I think. It's bent the metal. There we go. Right. So I managed to get that out. Fingers crossed. It's going to be able to fit. It's all pretty twisted, but so it pushes in. at the very least I can glue it in. Right, by using that I've managed to push this out a little bit, which is not enough to get the screw in or the bolt in, but it's managed to pinch it. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. The actual screw isn't in, but I can probably put some glue inside just to keep it there for now. So what I did is kind of just, if you had this hole here to pull out, I've used this. I know you can get special rods for this, which I might get if I'm going to do a bit more panel work. You just kind of slowly brought it out, pinched it a little bit, but I still can't get the screw in. So I'm going to try. Problem is there's nothing to go against, but right, I think I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to put some glue in there. Again, this is just for the MOT. Eventually I get a new door. But without mucking around for hours trying to pull it out, essentially achieve the same job as it's already done. One little screw holds it in, a bit of glue will do the same. Just for a temporary fix to get the MOT done. So I'm going to get some mesh and some paste and try and make this as smooth as possible. And then the aluminium mesh would normally go on the inside for a rust hole, but because my panel's so damaged, it can be quite hard to get this flush on the inside. I'm just going to put it on the outside. It's just about making it passable for the MOT and not being any sharp edges. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I imagine if you want to make a nice, neat, perfect finish, you do it on the inside. How you get it all nice and flush, I'm not quite sure, but then the Isopon P40 goes on the outside. If you want to make it plush afterwards, I think there's an Isopon P38, which is the filler, but this is just about getting it legal. So let's give it a go. So I need to form a depression by hammering down the edges, cut a mesh, put it on the inside. The issue with this though is that it's never going to be, it's just about making it legal. So can I get that mesh on the inside, or do I hammer it a bit more of a depression to get it on the outside? I actually think this is going to work a lot better on the outside because it can kind of get rid of a lot of the holes that I've drilled. They get rid of a lot of the sharp edges as well in one fell swoop, so that's what I'm going to do. Funnily enough, did all that work to pull it out, which I'm still okay with, but it needs to go in a bit more. But I've hammered down a lot of that, so that's all fairly smooth now. That's fairly flat. So clean. So you have to cut out a golf ball size of paste, 2 P's of hardener. So I'm going to use half of this in the first, I think. There we go. Half and half. A bit hard to do with one hand. Well, I know that looks pretty horrendous, but it is legal. So I need to sand it down. I put some filler over it. Obviously, no sharp edges. That'll be the same. So I'm going to sand it down, put some filler on top of it. The only thing left outstanding to do is to bridge this gap, and we're good for an MOT. So I'm going to sand this down now. We're getting there. Nice weather for it. Right, today I need to get this door legal. So there's a few sharp edges there. So I've got some metal mesh going to go in there, a bit more of the filler to go in, the fiberglass, and then we're done. I booked my MOT in for Friday. Obviously this is a really horrendous job in terms of the aesthetics of it, but it's just about getting it legal. I was doing it in the rain, in a bit of a rush jobby, but not really happy living with this. So I think once it's legal, I'll take a bit more of a considered view about whether I cut the panel out, whether I grind this down and can live with a bit of a bulbous bump there, or I take more of it off and just try and fix the metal and then leave the dent. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm not really happy with the way that looks. It's just about getting in. My big mistake really is that I didn't know what this filler would be. I didn't know that it was going to be fiberglass. I've never used it before. I pulled the metal out. What I should have done is left it kind of caved in, and then nice little kind of flush there. But it's just about legal, so I'm not trying to pretend it's a good job, aesthetic job. It's about being legal. Yeah, so with that mesh, you kind of make like a little pocket to hold the fiberglass. Once it goes off, then I'll cut the excess off. I need to put a little plug in there, and then we're good to go. Right, so that's all hard now, so just give it a sand, and then that should be okay. All legal for the MOT. That's all smooth now, I'm ready for MOT. I've got my MOT booked for Friday, so if it's a pass, then I'm not going to live with this, because it is obviously a horrendous job. It's just about getting it legal. So I think I've got to work out what my plan's going to be. I'm going to take all this off and kind of get a bit of a neater fix. What I want to do is that this has obviously cost me 700 quid. So if I end up buying a new door, let's call it 300 quid for a second-hand door, get a new panel, then I'm just going to ramp up the cost, which I quite like the fact that I bought it back for 700 quid. So I'm going to work at my options about whether I smooth this down, paint it, pull that off, and maybe it's come out too far, or get some sort of stud welder and pull it out. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm not going to live with this. This is just about Friday, getting it legal, which it should be, and then I'm going to pull it off. It's my first time doing fiberglass. Obviously I've come out far too much, but just about kind of covering up those sharp edges. Probably could have got away with just using it without that mesh. Well, the mesh was needed for the hole, but I could have just used it a little bit to kind of fill out those gaps. But either way, this can come off, and I'm going to start again. This just about getting it ready for Sunday, for Friday, sorry, for my MOT. I didn't have very much time, obviously I was in the rain, had a couple of hours to do it, and I kind of rushed it a little bit, but serves a purpose, and we'll see. Right, so it is a fail, but not a fail based on the damage. So the repair to the door, repair to the side panel was exactly what was needed. There's no sharp edges, that was a pass. I did actually have a bit of a notification from the last MOT that had an anti-roll bar that had slight wear. Now it's got excessive wear. So it's a fail on that behalf, which I'll change. In regards to getting it back on the road because the damage caused it to be a write-off, we're all good. So I'm going to get it this anti-roll bar changed, get the MOT, get the insurance, and then I'm going to start looking at maybe doing a bit of a better repair. And how I'm going to do that, change the door, just try and make it look a bit better. I'm aware it looks horrendous, but I'm going to do another video just kind of neatening it up a little bit. It's just about getting it through the MOT.